Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight.
Welcome to Crazy Carrot Studios. My name is James, and today we will be going over changing the color of our game object. Now, when we left off, we challenged you to create your own rotate function. Inside our Unity scripts folder, we can go and look at our move script and see how we did. Now, you notice on mine, under the rotate object function, I created a transform.rotate vector3.back. Now I multiplied that by a rotation speed and a times.delta time. Now the rotation speed we got as a variable that we created here on the top of the script called rotation speed. It acts just like the float we did for speed on the move function. Now as you see here, there are many different ways we can do a rotate with vector3. The right, left, up, down, forward, and back will all rotate it along the axis. Now when we write this out in code, it will look like this. Now notice on the bottom one, we combine two different ones to create a combination of rotation on different axes. Now that we have a basic understanding of how to move and rotate our game object, let's try to change the color of our game object. Again, let's go back into our move script, and in here we're going to create a new function, and we're going to call this one change color. Now, one thing we're going to do, and let's take a look back at Unity, and we look at Bob, our character, which is basically a cube. And if you looked in here, based on how we did the transform position or transform.rotation, now can anyone guess how we're going to change the material and the color? Now, if you said mesh renderer into the materials and then color, you were correct. Now in our script on the top, back in the variables, we're going to establish two new ones, a public color cube color and a public renderer cube renderer. Now if you will notice, I also commented each section so we know exactly what we're doing in each part. Now back in Unity in our inspector, you will notice that we have a cube material and a cube color variable set. By clicking on the color, we will see a color picker come up, and you can set your color from here. Back in our script, inside the function change color, we're going to add a cube renderer.material.color equals cube color. Let's break down this code a little bit. If you notice, the cube renderer is going to equate to the mesh renderer, and as you can see, the material matches the material in the inspector, and the color will go with the color in the materials. Lastly, that will equal our cube color. Now I'm going to reset my value to my cube color to a red. Now lastly, we need to be able to get our cube renderer. In our start method, we are going to go cube renderer equals get component renderer. Now in Unity, we could easily just drag Bob into our renderer and assign it that way. But I figured I'd show you a different way of doing it this time. So what we're going to do here is basically we're getting the mesh renderer component from here. And because our script is on this particular game object, when we write this part of the code, it's going to say get the mesh renderer component and assign it right here. And that's essentially what we're doing with that code. Now lastly, in our start function, we want to call the change color function. Now this is being done the same way we did in the update function when we called rotate. The only thing different from this one and the update is we don't want this to be continually running. So we were going to put it in the start function so that it runs one time. Now when we press play, you will notice it's still rotating, but our color did change to red based on our cube color we have in the hierarchy. Now always there is multiple different ways we can do the same thing. So in this one, I'm going to show you one more way by removing the variable for our cube color. Now once we did that, in our script in the hierarchy, you will notice that we no longer have that cube color. And then back in the script, we're going to change cube color into color dot and the color you would like to do, in this case red. Now this is going to do exactly the same thing as what we were doing in the other way. It's just a different way of writing it out. One other way to do this is to pass an argument into our function called color and color. That is basically the same as creating a variable called public color. What this allows us to do is have the flexibility to change the color based on the call of the function. So in this particular case in start, we change color.red, and that passes that into the variable we listed below in the change color function. So we've learned 3 different ways to change our color through the scripts and manipulate the cube that we have in our scene. On the next episode, we're going to try to go over instantiating, which is basically creating a game object, and destroying the game object. And from all of us at Crazy Carrot Studios, we would like to say thank you. And don't forget to please like and subscribe. We will see you next time when we get back to Learning with Bob.
The sky